In this tutorial, I am going to explain how to perform a split hand flare to mount the hoop.
Flares are notoriously hard to learn on a hoop, I personally think. I learned flares first because I did straps, so I found that easier to cross over, but I have found when teaching people that just do hoop, it's quite confusing. So these are the things that I teach first as the prerequisites for even getting a flare at all. So the hoop can be at any height. If you're not feeling as strong, then lower your hoop so it's comfortable to hold and it's like around your back. If you're happy with just holding it like this, then that's fine. So that's option, like one option, just put the hoop whatever height you feel comfortable with. Hold it on with two hands, and then we're going to make a little star. And there's not much weight going through my toes, so I'm quite lifted. The first little thing you're going to get stuck with is if you stay really weighted and there's too much weight going through your foot, you're not going to be able to get the spin going. The second thing is figuring out which way you prefer to flare. I prefer to do it on my left because that's the way that I spin a hoop. You might be different, so play with both sides. You might also only be able to figure it out on one side and not the other. So I'm reaching up onto my tippy toes, I'm holding on, and I've made a star. And I always get my students to, and I give the cue of like crank it up first. So they turn to the opposite direction that they're actually going to be spinning. Then from here, I'm going to send my torso round and my left leg is going to pick up. And I'm just going to rotate on that toe of the right foot. What we don't want to do is bring the hips into it and start moving in circles or anything like that. Everything needs to stay super rigid and you're just rotating round that foot. Once you've got that, you can then release your legs and just hang in an active star position, like so. So we crank it up, and I'm sending the left heel back, back, back. And then I'm hanging in a star. Oh, you only need a few spins because you spin really fast. From here, we need to do a figure of eight type motion. So I get people to learn it with their arms first. So because I'm spinning anti-clockwise, that's the way my legs need to turn. So I need to get used to sending my legs and my hips round anti-clockwise in a circle. They're going to come together at the back, and then they're going to slightly open in a straddle at the front. So it goes round the back, open to straddle, round the back, open to straddle. So we do crank it up, left heel back, spin, swing forward in circles like so. Okay. Once you've got that stage, we now need to get the split of the legs on the invert, which looks like this. Crank it up, get the spin, right leg meets, straddle, straddle. So the legs have now split now. My right leg is going to swipe across my body like this. I'm going to do like a dolly roll from gymnastics, if you ever did gymnastics, and I'm going to come around the back split. So it makes a figure of eight, like so. If you want to learn it without a spin and you're not sure on what the leg pattern is, start with a swipe of the right leg, swipe, over, then it comes back to the opposite side, the right leg, round the back, and it's like the left leg is always following my right leg. Once you've got that movement from just hanging, add that into the flare spin, like so. So I've done that spin, right leg comes up and round, up, and it's figure of eights. My tip is that you get a really good swipe across your body as it comes forward with your right leg if you're doing a flare as a lefty. So obviously, if you're doing it on the other side, you just need to swap so you'll spin clockwise and you'll be swiping your left leg across and over. And it's the left leg that has all the power and opens out through to that figure of 8. Once you've then gone that, you can then change the hoop to the side. Make sure as well, and this is another common mistake, as soon as you start on a side mount, that you don't just grab the hoop anywhere. You need to make sure, can you see the tip of the hoop? If I've tipped the hoop, but then I've stayed stood over here to start my flare, I'm completely off my anchor point. So when I come to do my flare, I'm going to kill my own spin. So you need to make sure that when you've pulled the tension out of the rotation in the hoop, you hang back under your anchor point. So now my arm is in line with the strap and my arms are in line with my hips and my heels. And that's when you know that you're going to start your flare and get a good rotation and not kill your own spin. So my left hand's on top. I like to do a split grip. Crank it up, rotate, rotate, and then right leg comes across and back down, across and back down. Once you're doing it from the side, you now have to take into consideration the fact that there is a hoop there. So you have to sort of like, you just have to use your eyes to make sure that you don't kick the side of the hoop. And that should help you learn a flare. Then you can start building it up to just like a single arm flare, as if you are doing straps. So you'll rotate round and you'll spin all the way up that way. You can do that easier from underneath the center of the hoop, but my hoop's too low to show you. You can do it with both hands like so. There's lots of ways you can change and play with your arm position, but the main bulk of it is that you get that figure of 8 motion with your legs working first, and you can build up from that. It's also about being able to get your hips up from a straight arm position. So some good conditioning exercises for that are hanging on the top bar or hanging on the bottom bar, and it's just lifts. So I'm pressing down on my lats, but I'm also tucking my pelvis under. So I'm here. And it doesn't want to turn into a swing. It needs to be fully controlled each time. So tipping my pelvis under and trying to do a crunch. Pressing on my lats. So I'm trying to close the angle here and tuck under here. That's a good one. Another one is your straight arm straddles. So from here, lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. And another good exercise is windscreen wipers. So you're going to go side to side with the legs. If you've never done these before, it can feel a little bit strange in your ribs. So you do just have to condition to that. So start with the straddle. Lower down a little bit. And we're here. So from the side, you'll see that I'm on a little bit of an angle. If they're too hard, you can try tucking up and over without, so that you're trying to lift up over a wall, and then you'll start with straight legs. They're actually quite hard to do on the floor like that. They're easier from the top bar to bring the legs up and over. Meat hooks are really good conditioning for it as well. So if you can do your meat hooks, straddle through to meat hook. So that will be straddle, and remember, hips press up and there should be no gap between your forearms. So you're not in a straddle like this. You're lifted, you're almost pushing your chest forward, so there's no gap here. Like so. Both legs come to one side. Back to straddle. Both legs over to one side and back to straddle. So I'd say that all the exercises that you need to work on, along with the movement of a flare, add that all together, and then you should be able to pass that over into other moves and use it for really nice mounts onto the hoop.